Yesterday we were discussing about formula fields, right? And there are some functions we have discussed, and some of them let's look through it. And so, wait, give me a second.
Power on.
Give me a second. Yesterday we were looking at a formula fields. So what actually a formula fields? It's basically calculated by Salesforce based on what are the formula that we gave, and it's always a read-only fields. And whenever we create a formula for all existing records also, it will auto populate the value based on your formula. And what are the scenarios when we create a formula? What we discussed yesterday, when you want to show a parent object record data in child objects, then we'll go for a formula. Or if you have any kind of numerical calculations or a date calculations or time calculation, distance calculations, or like if you want to having some um, value that or text value which has to be rendered based on a multiple fields, and you have to check those fields and all, and you have a text operators. So you have all these functions available in a formula field, and moreover you can add images also. When I'm saying images, they are like different images that are available. Let's say I have a student object. In student object I want to have a status of the student. Okay, for the status I would like to pick a pick list. So status of the student is going to be a let's say inquired, or like attended demo, mm, joined, okay, discontinued, or like mm, ongoing, or completed, mm, what I can say, eliminate. What else we have? Let's keep these are all like what all my status are. Okay, so this is a pick list. So once it's done, so I want to like kind of a score the student, like which is a healthier state and which is a not healthy one. Okay, if they inquired, I want to like signal the student, like I want to categorize the students into a three signals. One is a red, one is orange, and one is a green. Okay, so which is a healthier state? That is a green. That means like if they attended demo, it's good. If they joined, it's good. Ongoing also good. Completed also good for me. Aluminium also fine. If they inquired, it's somewhat they're showing interest, so I need an orange there. Okay, if they discontinued, it's a warning for me. Okay, so I need to keep it in a red zone, green and orange. These three I would like to put based on the different status. I just not have a three, but I have a multiple. But out of this multiple, I'm going to categorize them and display them as a different zones. So in formula fields, we have some images already available. Okay, and they are like a flag symbols, and they are like a what we say, just a light symbols, and they are like a stars. We'll have a ratings, right? Usually when we do a rate, like a 1 to 5 stars, and we can light the stars based on our different criterias. Or like similarly, we have so many actually. Let's say what so here what I'm having is, I don't have a traffic, a big list of images, that pre-built images I have. Yes, I'm looking for that actually. Sample images, help text. These are the same. Yeah, traffic light status, this one. So this I have a difference like green, yellow, red. Okay. So when my project status is something and I want to use this image, whenever you use an image, it will display that image. And if you have nothing, just all lights are off in this last one, and that's it. So first of all, write the what I would say. First of all, write our formula and then use this images to fulfill that one. Okay. So let's create a formula field. So I define it what in the different status. I'd like to say it over there. I have a formula field of writing a formula field. So I would say student um, student score. I would say student score. I would like to say it here, and I would like to create a. For if you need to add image also, we can consider it as a text only. So go next. Here what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to put an image. Okay, so look for an image tag. So I have image tag included. So what I'm having over here, I have a image URL, alternate text, height and width. Okay, so height and width I would say something like 100 and 100 I'll give for now. Alternate text, what I will give. Mm, traffic lights, just I'm giving a one name. Now here I would like to say image URL, but it's not like a direct image URL. Based on a student status, I would like to put different images. So I have a one field that is going to drive me with a different values. So when you have that scenario, we have to go for a case. So case will just evaluate one expression, and this expression is giving a different values, and we can have a different values for a different expressions. sorry, with a single expression, what are the outcome? For each outcome, we have a different result we can display. That is for a image URL, what we'd like to show. So what I'm doing, just I'm chunking it down. So this is already done. So I'm just moving it to a next line. So for the image URL, I'm going to use a switch case. So look for a case. So here I have a case. I have inserted the case. So in a case, what I have expression. If it's a value 1, then give a result 1. If value 2, then result 2. And it will goes on. You can give any value and results. And what is a default result? Okay. And what is the default means? If it's not matching any of these values, it will go with the else result. Okay. Now what is the expression of mine? My expression is the field called status, student status. So this is what my field is, but it is a pick list field. So the pick list field I cannot compare directly. So, so if I want to compare with the text directly with it, I have a function called ESPick_value. So ESPick_value we have to use to compare the pick list value with any of the text. Otherwise, it will not support. So, but here I want to give this expression and I want to compare this expression against different values. But here I don't have one place. So what I need to do, I need to convert. I need to convert this pick list value to a normal text. Okay. So if you're using a pick list field, then you have to compare the text like this. So if you want to like check whether I had joined or not, this is how you have to compare it, and the outcome of it will be a. And if you like for student, if it's student, if it is joined, then it will give a true result. The outcome of it is a true. If it is not joined, the status is not a joined. It's like something like attended demo or like inquired. If anything else, it will give the result as a false. So putting this aside for now, so why we're not looking for it now. The text of the status, if it is a value 1, I want to give a result 1. If it's a value 2, I want to give a result 2. Similarly, I might be having a more actually. So I have different statuses, right? So I want to give it for all the status. And else, if nothing, I'm going to use a else result. Okay, let's see what are all the values. So sorry, I didn't remember actually what was the status I gave, but let me quickly see. If the value is something join, I will keep on adding over here. Okay, the values I will put here. So I have a object called a student, and in student I have a status. So in status I have different values. So what are those values I have? Let's go in the same order. If it is inquired, okay. If it is inquired, what is the value? And if it is a attended demo, what it means for me? Attended demo. And what I have a joined. After the joined, what it should be? Discontinued. What it should be? Ongoing. Ongoing. Completed. One more is the spell right or wrong for eliminate? I'm thinking it's wrong. Okay, so
Yeah, spelling mistake.
yeah, what is it?
MNI, I guess.
MNI.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So any changes, you have to go to edit and just correct it and save. Okay, so now I have all the conditions. Now what is the results of what I'm looking for? So I have this links over here. I'm going to use those links. Where it is? This links here. What I have? This is a light green, light yellow, light red, and the default is this one. So default is this one. So no lights. And what is for a green? So green is for the attended demo. It's green for me. The joined also green for me. Ongoing also green. Completed also green. What else I have now? I have a red. So when I need to worry about, if they discontinued only, I need to worry about. And yellow. When I want to give a yellow, inquire, just inquire. It's like some bait is good. Aluminum also, some but good. Okay, so this is how um, it's going to be. Okay, so it's if you give extra spaces, nothing to worry about it. So it can read. If you give extra space, it doesn't mean like you have to really worry about it. So extra space is absolutely fine. And if you think like you have write some code and which is not working and you have altered it and you want to keep some old formula as well over here. First I will explain this one, like why to add more content over here. Okay, it's saying a syntax error, missing a brackets. Okay, first one is a image one, this image closing, traffic, lights, this one, and I have a case of status. Mm, let's check one by one whether we have everything or not. I have a case for all this. This is what my case is doing. I'm just cutting it and I have this URL and check. So problem with this one only. Traffic lights and I have to give a comma, I guess. Image, insert, mm, alternate text. So it has to be a light. Good. So here I am pasting my case statement. Check syntax. Okay, we are good. So if you want to have a like want to give a height and width, we can give over here. But I'll see like there's some syntax actually it's giving an error. So let's see, giving a height comma width, something like 50 comma 50, height comma width. Okay, we'll see like actually how to give a height and width of it, but we are good so far. Ah, no. Oh, you guys with me? Hello. Is I audible?
Yes, Bala, now we are audible.
Yeah,
Earlier you broke.
yeah. So let's check. So we have this formula ready, and let's check how it looks. Save. Let's open some student records and see how it signals. So I have one student. Let's have a status. So I'd say they are joined. Save. So we have a, it's showing like a very small, right? Basically, sorry, we are not given any size to it. So if you give a size, then it will show up. So just comma values, that's it. There is no square brackets required. So let's give it some values over here. So comma, let's give 50 comma 50 and do a quick say. See here whether it's increase or not size. So the length has to be more, height and width has to be somewhat more. So I will give a 150 here, the width, height and width. So okay, so do you see that looks like the green is blowing or not? And if it is inquired, so the red is blowing here now, and if it is a discontinued, the red is blowing now. But this is one image, but we have a different images with flags, and what else we have. Mm, this is a color squares for case age, case priority is the flags, messengers, and if we have something called star ratings. So star ratings also somewhat good actually, and horizontal bars of your scoring. Mm, 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 mm. Ratings and a star. If you use something like stars, just I will explain you. Like this is how a flags will display. This is how a traffics will display. Mm, and this is what this one. This is a coloring sample color images, and this is how a stars displays. This is how a ratings displays. This is how what it is called a priority sign displays. You see images over here. I'm not sure whether you're following or not. This is how the images, the five images. This is how the rating images will look like. This is how a star images will look like. So this is a 5 star. Last one is a rating of 5 star. So if none of them is glowing, this is like a 0 stars. Okay. So I feel like it is not much looking. So what I will give here, student. The same way, what I will to do is instead of a signal, if I want to use something like a stars, Okay, I'm going to have a one more for student with a formula with the text and go next. I would say rating. I'll just call it as a rating, and the length is going to be vectors. I'm going to go with the formula. The outcome of formula is text rating, and here now I would like to use the star rating instead of the lights, for example. So when it is kind of a 5 star for me, when is the 5 star? Like the completed it's 5 star for me, and the ongoing it's 4 rating for me, and if they're joined it's 3. If demo it's 2. Inquired is 1. I'm just giving for the sake, okay? Nothing to worry much about here. Okay, that's how I gave and forgot about this sizing. See, let's look at the record, how it displays. That's how our ratings will be. So discontinued, I gave a 0 rating. If I have something attended demo, I think I gave 2 or 1. So 2. So dynamically, it will change whenever I have the feeding value, which actually driving the formula. Whenever I change it, it will keep on changing. Okay, so we have so many things on formula, so you can keep on exploring. There's a lot more actually, it's not just one or two, there are many more actually. So what we'll give is we'll try to assign different formulas covering a different areas. Okay, so actually we're seeing like absolute values, math value actually, and adding a month if you have a date, and how many months if you want add, and the return will be a adding this month, and logic and text comparison, like when it's begins with what are the values that you are looking for. It's a blank value. If you want to give a different expression, you can give it. It's a HTML break, case safe id, we already seen already. Ceiling, it's a math function, contains also a text one. Currency rate already we see for conversion, and date if you want to like generate a date format by using year, month, and date. So you're going to calculate year, you're going to calculate month, and you calculate a date. For suppose if you have a date field, but you want to write a formula, whatever the date it is, you want to bring the first of the date. For suppose, for example, I'm not saying it's a real time, but suppose even though if you joined any day of the month, okay, but the billing has to happen in the corresponding month, first of the month. For suppose I joined today, like June 10th, the bill or like the reminder has to go in the next month first. It is a July 1st, it has to send a reminder. Or for else, like if you joined on a 30th, still it has to send the next month first only, it has to send a reminder. Okay, if you have such a thing, anything you have some logics like that, if you want to calculate the date, then what we will do, So we'll take the year from the joining date, month also from joining date plus 1, and day will be a 1. So on first month of sorry, whenever you join, the first of the next month will be whatever the date you're going to calculate. That's how it is. Date time value. So if you have anything, you'll be converting it to a date time. Date value. If any expression, you'll convert into a date. If you have date time, then it will just extract a date. So identify the day in a date. Distance. When you have a two geolocations, you can calculate the distance. Exponential. It's a numerical thing. Find text thing. Floor text. Sorry, floor is a calculating a number. Geolocation, when you have latitude and longitude, you can build a geolocation, and you can use another formula to calculate the distance between this geolocation and another geolocation. And the get session I already explained. Hours, if you have a date and date time thing, then if you want to extract what is that hours part of it, you can extract hyperlink. If you want to provide any URL links that user can click and navigate, you can generate by using this hyperlinks. If condition, we know if it's some, if you give expression and if true happens, what should you do, and if it's false, what should we do. There's only two outcomes of a if condition. You have expression, and if the expression is true, the value you give one thing, and if it's a false, you give a different thing. So only expression, it has to be true or false. If true, what needs to be done, false, what needs to be done. An image, you give URL, alternate text, height, width, and including. This is also something we use for a multi select pick list. So if it's a pick list, what I said, like if you want to compare with the values, is pick value you have to use. If it's a multi select, what will happen when you have a multi select pick list? So we'll select multiple values, right? How it's stored in the backend, it will store it in a semicolon separated values. But in a formula, how you will check? Suppose you have like three or four values in it. So out of, suppose the courses what they wanted to offer, but they have like admin, development, lightning, integration, sales cloud, service cloud, marketing. So the list goes on. So one to what are the courses that we are offering for suppose. So there will be multiple. So here what I would like to say, students also they are opting a multiple courses. Then we in a formula, if we want to check what course, if they are picking admin course, then we have to share the admin course material. For example, if you have some logic like that, then you need to check whether this courses have a admin or not. Then you will use this includes value. Is blank, is blank or not, just it will true or false. Is null, also same thing, null check. Is number or not. If you have expression of a text, it's having all numerical values or not. If you want to check, then you can check it. ESP already explained left. So if you have a text, okay, that means like any field value, and you want to just take only the left three characters. Okay, so if it's having a 10 characters, it will only take the left side, and means like what is your left. Okay, the left three characters it will take. It have only one character, then still it will take only one character. We're asking for three. If it have only one or two, it will take. If it has 10, it will only take the three only. That's how this function is. And length, to calculate length of text. And learn logarithm, log. This is one logarithm. This is one logarithm with base 10. Lower. So if you have a text, if you want to convert all this text into a lower cases, then it will do. LPAD. If you want to pad anything, that means you decide the length of a text. The length of text is 10, that you want to maintain uniformly. Okay, you have other text, what you're saying, it could be 5, 4, 3, anything of it. So if you want to restrict or like maintain with the same length by adding some paddings to it. So when it's a left padding, so if only having 4 characters, and if you want to maintain length as 10, when you do a left pad with the mentioned size, so whatever the data existing, the what is the gap, the gap will be filled by this padding with the whatever the character that you give. Suppose if you give a cross symbol, then it will give cross 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 followed by the text. If you give like all zeros, then you mention zero, all zeros will be filled followed by the text. And there will be a right pad as well, max, to identify the maximum value of the numbers. Ceiling, again same, mathematical. mid also for text. So we seen a left in the starting, right? So only pick the left value. And mid, what we'll do, we'll provide the index. What index to what index will be calculated as a mid. So milliseconds value. So if you have a date or datetime expression, we can, there will be a called a ipsecond. Ipsecond means there's a date actually. What all the date will be in any of the platform will be referred from one base date. There's one based at 1960 or some date is there. Okay, from that date till this time, it will show the time in the form of a seconds. So by the time we speak itself, it will increase 1 second. So it will measure the date and datetime everything in the form of a milliseconds. That is a ipsoc seconds what called. So if you want to have that one from a date and datetime fields, you can do it. Minimum value of it, minutes, mode. Like when you're having a division and what is the reminder, you can calculate using a mode. Month also extracting the month from a date. Not if you want to complement the expression, like if you have some true or false value, and if you want to complement it at any point of time, you will use a not expression. So it's inside, if it's a true, not of it will become a false. So not of a false it will become a true. So now it's a date time, its current value, null value, or right. Right is what we have a, if you have a text and if you want to have a only right four characters only, if you want to take, you can use similar to left. Right also is there, rounding a number. And r padding, we see already explained the left, it is a right padding. Seconds, just if you have a data time value, date time or time, then if you want to extract the seconds part of it, you can. And square root of a number, substitute, if you want to have a text and if you want to substitute one text with another text, you can do it. And a text, converting any value into a text, number, date time, or a pick list value, anything you can convert into a text. Time now, so now our time now almost same actually. Time value, you can manually write it and convert into a time format. Today, what is the today's date? Trim, if you have any extra spaces at the left or right, it will get trimmed when you do a trim operation on the text values. Uppercase, converting into all uppercases. Value, when you have a text and you want to convert it to a numerical value, then you'll use a value function. Weekday, if you have a day, if you want to identify whether it's a weekday or not. Weekday means Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, these three are considered as a weekday. Holidays will not be considered. So weekday means only Monday to Friday will be considered as a weekdays. Year, extracting the year. That's it. These are all the functions. What I will do was, while we sharing the material, we'll be going in detail with all these functions and try you. And in assignments also, we'll try to cover as much as possible, which are really useful. Okay, so all you need to know is nothing to remember the syntax and all, but everything is here. Just you need to read this 2 3 lines whenever you want to use it. But you have to have an understanding what all the features are available. That is only the intention was. There's a big list. No one will expect to remember all the functions or name all the functions in any place. Nothing like that. Just you have to know what are the features of it, how we can tweak it based on our functionality. What are the operators available? Add, subtract, multiply, divide, expression. All these are like self-explanatory. Nothing like complicated ones. Okay, Drak, any questions you have, you can ask, or like let's take a short break. Okay, so that is so far for formulas. Okay, so if you take a summarize of it, we have covered everything on a fields and relationship. Okay, so now let's move on to the next one. That is onto the page layouts. So far, if you observe, whenever we add a new field in an object, while creating an object itself at the last screen, 4 of 4, where we have added to the layout. That is what the last screen was. So if I don't check the adding to the layout there, or like usually how it will add like in a single row from top to bottom. It will keep on adding, but is no in a good structure. So I want to keep it in a beautiful structure and keep it in a meaningful way. And I want to segregate the fields into or like group the fields into a different sections and use a left and right columns. I want to use all this, and I want to arrange the screen with the 100% looks familiar or good to the user. Now where I can do that is in page layout section, where you have a multiple page layouts. So it's not like we have to have only one page layout. We can create any number of page layouts. While creating a page layout, we have to take a reference from any of the existing page layout and add a new page layout name and do a save. Then whatever there in that layout, it will be copied to this new page layout, and from there onwards you can make changes and do it, creating a new page layout. And you have one more thing called a page layout assignment. Page layout assignment is when you have a one, obviously all profiles will have a assigned to a same page layout. If you want to give a different page layouts to a different profiles, so you will be having a list of profiles, and what are the page layout you want to assign to it. You see, these are all the different profiles available in my org right now. So if I want to give a different layouts to it, just edit the assignments, but I have only one page layout and I don't have any option to choose here. So I create a multiple page layouts. I want to chatter free should have a one layout, and chatter moderator want to have a one layout, and chatter contract manager I want to have one layout. And similarly I want to have a different layouts for different profiles, or like some three profiles I will need one layout, and one profile I need a different layout. You can choose that, it's up to you. So what are the how many profiles you have, you have those many options to have a layouts. It's not like a single or a multiple, it's not restricted. So there will be a, so in certification or in an interview there will be a simple questions like, so I have a student, any object. I have a two users. Okay, so I have total 10 fields in my object. I want to display only 5 fields to user 1, and I want to show 8 fields to the user 2. How I can achieve this? There's nothing to break your heads. Simply add one more page layout, and the user 1 profile, add one layout with the 5 fields, and go with the second layout to the second user with the 8 fields. That's it, simple. So first of all, let's arrange what are all the options we have. Let's see in the layout. Hope everyone is following, and I don't hear any responses. So okay, fields. So here, what are all the available fields here? You can see everything is being added over here. Student name, institute, reference, status, scoring, and rating. Okay, I want to put the scoring and rating to the right side of it, and status also here, and institute code, it's fine with this. This is how I can just click and drag wherever I want it. Okay, and if you want to remove any of the fields, for suppose I don't want an institute code here, when I click minus, it went up. So this is only what I wanted, and I want to make sure in one page layout, for example, the reference, what I want to make it as a required. Okay, in one page layout I want to make it as required, and for other users it's not like a mandatory one. So so on a field level, what we have options, either we can make it read only or we can make it required. That is how on top of a field what we can control. Okay, and for suppose they have only one section over here, I want to add one more section over here and name it as a suppose personal information. Okay, and one column or two column, left to right, all these options are there, just pick all those. Personal information. I don't have any personal information like email, phone, address. I don't have it. So if anything like that, I will place it over here. And something about a student news section I'd like to add, and I would say for course information. Okay, here I will have, and I have one more section called um, fee information. Okay, so I not created all these fields. So if I have something like what is the total fee need to be paid, okay, and what is the due, and what is the discount, all if I want to maintain over here I can maintain. And course related, like what course he has taken, and mm, and whether it's completed, status is completed or not, everything related to course I want to keep it in a course. And personal information like a email, phone, address, I can keep it in the personal information section. This is how fields we can do it. And this and the buttons. So buttons is this button actually used for a classic UI. So no more longer we are discussing about a classic. So you can forget about this one. But if any case, if you are using a still a classic UIs, if you want to add any buttons to the classic UI, you need to use this buttons part and quick actions. Moving on to a mobile lightning actions. So in lightning or in a mobile view, we're going to use the section mobile and lightning action. All the action that are available, you can see it over here. And by default, it will be driven from a classic. And if you don't want to use it anymore, just override these actions. Okay, there are so many being added. So I don't need all this. Okay, so I'm just removing. Okay, so whatever I don't want, I'm just removing those. Contact, loan, question, poll, email. Okay, only this I'm required. So I need a edit and a clone. I don't have a new case. Yeah, these are all only I need. So in which order also you can define. So some of them will go to activity section, some of them will go to a drop down section, that we'll discuss more deeper. But this is actually when you look at a record, you'll be having this action buttons. So when you open a record, you see a buttons at the top right. This is what actually we're controlling from here. Okay, and let's see, I have this one. So let's take order will be a first I want to have edit. Sorry, I want to have edit, and then I want to have a clone, and then I want to have a delete, and then I want to have a change owner. That's it. And then printable view. Okay, that is all I'm looking for. And we have a related list. Related list is if any of the object is relating to a student, then we will be having a related list here. So we have approval history, content deliveries, files, flows. These are all like coming as a default to a Salesforce. Whenever you create objects, notes and attachments or files, or this history and approval history, these are all a default related objects. On top of it, if you have any ERD relations to this object, then those also will come over here. And what else we have? Report charts. When we have these topics, we will explain those. Okay, nothing to worry much, and just save it. And previously, you have this kind of a structure over here. Okay, and once it is saved, if I refresh, see how it happen, how it behave. See how it is being now. It's being arranged, and the fields also edit, clone, delete, and printable view. This is in the same order you have. And at least I don't have anything, so that's why I'm not saying anything. Okay, and the read-only fields we don't have a pencil icon. For editable fields we have a pencil icon. Either you can click and change the values and save, or you can use edit, so which will be open in a pop-up window. And we have, this is called a record edit page, this one, and this one is called a record detail page, and this is called a related records. That's what we name it. So in standard objects you see there is thing called a highlight panel. All this panel is called a highlight panel. Here we don't have any fields now. So if I want to add any fields in a highlight panel, how can I add? So there is something called a compact layouts. In compact layouts we can create a new compact layout here, and I would say student compact. It's not very, you can give whatever the name you like. Okay, so what I want to see here, I want to see a student name, student student rating, and institute name. What else? Referenced by. This is all the information I would like to see at the highlight panel level, and then I would like to see compact layout assignment as well. So edit assignment. So here the assignment has to be here to use the newly created compact layout. And I do a save, and see here. Currently I don't have any fields. And I do a refresh. See, I have all those fields. So I added a student name. Already it's there. That's why it's not displaying over here. Followed by a institute name, rating, and reference. And you can add up to 10 fields in a highlight panel. Okay, if you have more than 10, it's not allowed. Okay, fine. Now I'd like to add institute. So what institute I have else? Let's say I want to add some more institutes over here. Okay, set and NTU. Sorry, like I'm bad at creating a sample data. And I have a few students over there. So I added some students. So what actually I'm trying for, I forgot. Okay, compact layouts and what else actually? I started with some motive, but I forgot. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so these are the how we can do a search. Yeah, to explain a global search, I was actually doing all this. Okay, I have a three students over here. So let's search for a Sam. Whether I was able to search him or not. Yes, I do able to search. When I do a search, I just only see a name of him, but I want to see more information. For suppose I have like with same um, name, I have like a couple of students. Okay, so as I joined to Kakinanda, and um, this one has some different area. Okay, so if I look at Sam, I have three different Sams. Okay, three students with the same name. Okay, now I cannot open each and every record and see more details. On search itself, I want to see more information about the student so that I can identify um, who actually he is, and then I can directly open the record whichever I want. So how can I add more fields to it? And moreover, if you look at the students and in a recently viewed section, if it is a default list view and you cannot alter anything on it, you can just copy or create a new, but you cannot alter anything over here. Everything is freezed. But if you have any other fields, you have option to control it. Like if you want delete or add more fields or apply more filters, you can do everything over here. But on recently viewed, I want to see more information also. I don't have an option. And in a search layout also, where it is again, I lost. Sorry. Yeah, recently viewed, or if I do a search, just I make a duplicate of it so that I have in the same place both my accounts. And if I look for a Sam, so here and here and recently view, in both the places I want to add more information to see the more information on the first go itself, from where I can do it. So here we have a option called as search layouts, from where we can define what fields need to be displayed on a search layouts. In search layouts, there's a default layout which will be there, and you can create a more layouts on search layouts, and for each profile you need to assign a different layout. So here we have only one default layout for now, and default we have only student name is there. So if I edit this one and add more fields to it, like I want to give a institute name, rating, reference, status, everything to it, and just overall customers for all users, and save that. So I want to see all this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have added total 5 fields. So where it will reflect is, it will reflect both in a search result section and in a recently viewed. In the both places, you will be see this changes. Okay, in the here you see all these 5 columns, and in a search layouts also. Yes, I need to refresh this page. You'll be able to see those fields that whatever we have added, everything will be seen here. So you can easily identify, okay, this is from different institutes. So what I'm looking for is from Delhi. I can use this record directly. This is what search layouts will help you. Okay, now what else we have? Let's cover a record types as well. So what actually record type? Yeah, what actually a record type was? Record type is nothing but we are going to use same object, student only. Okay, but we want to differentiate some students. For example, there are some students having a scholarship. So the payment will be um, reimbursed from a government, or they will do a scholar from them. Either they will be having some a trust, or a government who actually sponsoring the students in the form of scholarships. So who are all students, scholar students? I want to have a different information for them, like who is the sponsor and what percentage of their fee is being sponsored. But for other students, it's completely irrelevant for them. Why? Because they don't have a scholar and they're going to pay their own the payments and all. So I want to, but they're also students only. But what I want to do for the scholar students, I will be having some more additional information for them, like who is the sponsor, how much there's, and which in which form I'm receiving a payment, or like when it's receiving, and I need to submit some documents to them. and there will be different type of follow-ups I need to do for a scholar students. But again, they are students. So I want to have a, even though the users are same, the profile is same, I want to have a different options for the scholar students. Still they are students, everything is same for them, but on top of it I'm having some more information that I'm going to capture. So in those scenarios I will go for record types. I just explained one scenario, but if I say it in general, how it is when you having exactly same information with minor deviations, where you have a different or additional or different functionality with them having a same structure of data, like 70 to 80% of is the same. It's not like a fixed one. You can choose up based on your business. If you're having the same data model but few of them having a difference, then we can go for a record type. So in record types, what we can control basically, once we have a record type, the page layout, even previously the page layouts, how we can control, if the users are from a different profiles, then only we can assign a different profile to a different users. So even though it's the same record type, forget about record type. When you have a different profiles, then only you can show a different page layouts. But when it's come to a record type, what will happen, even though the users are from same profile, you can choose a different layouts based on the record type. You have a two different record types, you can use one, but you have an option to choose two different page layouts for a different record types. And second one is, on record types we have an option to control the pick list values. That means, for suppose in the student, what we have seen, like a joined, ongoing, disconnected, all is there, right? So for scholar, for example, scholar sanctioned, or like a scholar rejected, or scholar applied. Okay, some, but this is, those options are invalid for the other students. So what I will do, I will add those values only to the scholar student only. Okay, let's create um, scholar. Okay, scholar. Okay, so I want to mention it as record types as a record type 1 is going to be a non-scholar. So that's how we call it, or differently, non-scholar, or what it would be, non-scholar students is one record type I'm going to use. Same page layout I'm going to use here for all profiles for now, and save. And when we want to have a scholar student, next, and save. Before having a record types, what we'll have is a master. Usually the master will not have any record types, but when we enable record type, when we start creating a record types, then we'll take a reference from a master. That means whatever existing having a layouts or different layouts or fields, everything will be treated as a master layouts or a master types, but it's a default one which is not having any IDs and all. Non-scholar or a scholar students, okay, and some of them might have like residential or hostel. That is also you can think of, like it's up to like how you have a business or how you have in your organization, it's up to that. Okay, now if I look at I want to add a in a status, In status, I want to add some more new values. New values are like sponsor found and what we can say, scholar applied, scholar, or we can say scholar applied and um, let's say approved, scholar approved. This kind of status I have. So it will be applied only to the scholar students only and save. Okay, so I can control the pick list values also based on a record types. So in the record types, if I go to a scholar student and go to a status and edit, so I have all these values available. And if I go to a record type where a non-scholar is there, I have not added this new values to it. So you see these are available in the left side only. So we can have a different pick list based on a different record types you have. And at the same time in the record and the page layouts also, when you look at a page layout assignment, here now you will be having a one more row like master, non-scholar, scholar. I'm using the same layout for all of them. And here I would say new field called new field with which is called a text for now. I would say sponsor. I would say 255 character for the sponsor. Next. And here in the layouts, in which layout you want like to add. So we have only one layout, so adding it to it. Now go to it, page layouts, and I'm going to create a new page layout saying that scholar student page layout. From student layout only, I'm going to save the scholar student page layout. And here I'm going to control the fields are like I would like to have this new section over here called sponsor information, so which is not valid for a non-scholars. Okay, so a sponsor information is going to be a sponsor man save. And in student layout I want to rename this one to a, instead of student layout I would say non-scholar student page layout. Okay, here I don't need a sponsor name to be displayed over here. I don't need a sponsor name over here. Okay, so I have a student, some students over here. Now, if I try to create new, what will happen? It will ask which student you would like to add, scholar or a non-scholar. Okay, I would like to add a scholar student now. And Arjun, student name is, and he is applying for a scholar applied. Institute, I'll do some institute name. I'll just use some name. He's a scholar student now. Okay, and now I would like to see for a non-scholar. So if I have a non-scholar and do next. Now I don't find anything called a sponsor. I don't have it. So student, and I just say ongoing. and institute is this one. The house. Jonas Davis. Okay, that's how we can control our user record types to have a different page layouts and different pick list values based on record types, and we can use a page layout assignments also based on your record type with a different layouts what we can use. And what else I want to cover here? Yes, I think that's all I would like to cover for today. And any questions as of now? Anything? Yes, no.